TV.
Some of the province's elite curlers are in Elmira vying for Ontario's top prize.
So this is our flagship event. The winner of this event on both the men's and women's side goes to the Brier, the Montanas Brier, and the Scotties, which those two events are so synonymous with Canadian identity and curling in this country.
This week-long event not only showcases athletic talent, but also teamwork on and off the ice.
An event like this really brings communities together. So Elmira and District Curling Club bid to host this over a year ago. The host committee put so much work into hosting this. We really couldn't do it just as an organization without the committee itself. And I mean, you see behind me all of the fans and the communities and the volunteers that come together. So it really is such a community event that brings people together within this area in Elmira and Woolwich Township, but also the best competitive curlers in the province as well.
There's a fantastic crew that started at midnight on New Year's Eve, changing from ice hockey to curling. To have that quality of ice that the players in our club got a chance to come out Sunday morning to try that ice out, and it's an amazing experience to play on that quality of ice.
It's not the first time the Elmira Curling Club has played host to this premier event. But what makes this year so special is the club is celebrating a major milestone.
This is our 70th anniversary year. So the club's been going for 70 years. So we thought this was a great way to celebrate that and bring some spotlight to the club.
Fans will have another chance to watch competitive curling action.
Obviously, our men's champion will go to Newfoundland later this year for the Brier. But this year we're hosting the Scotties in Mississauga in just a couple of weeks. So it's really exciting for the women's champion to get to wear the Trillium, the Ontario Trillium, on home turf and hear the roar of the home crowd.
January can feel bleak. The dark, cold winter days can affect our moods. Blue Monday was a starting point for Ben Strasser to start Kickback, a yearly broadcast on Rogers TV. The program focuses on mental health and awareness.
Really, the whole point of Kickback is to show people that they're not alone in their struggles and that other people are dealing with similar things. And there's really nobody that is not affected on some level by mental health.
Kickback airs on the third Monday of January. Guests share their personal stories surrounding mental health.
I'm always floored with the amount of individuals that put their hand up and say, hey, I really want to share what is typically like a deepest, darkest struggle that they've navigated, and they're doing that in the hopes that somebody that is watching or potentially reading about their personal story won't struggle the same. And maybe we'll be able to clear those hurdles easier than what they had done. And so you're going to hear a lot of people that are navigating or have navigated all various, whether it's dealing with addiction, whether it's dealing with depression, anxiety, suicidal ideation. Really, we cover a wide array of subject matter, and these individuals are coming on to share either how they overcame whatever they were struggling with, or how they're currently navigating that.
The personal journeys on Kickback continue to resonate with viewers, even during changing times in the world. Early on, more women reached out to share their stories, but a shift has happened the past few years, and more men are opening up about their mental health.
The early days of doing this, it was mostly women, and then through a lot of the years, it was kind of like the same 5 men that came up and were saying, hey, you know what, I want to share, really want to help move this forward. And so it's been really encouraging to hear more men speak up and speak out about what they're dealing with, to normalize that it's okay for men to be vulnerable too.
You can tune in to Kickback on Monday, January 19th from 1 to 7 p.m. and then starting again at 9 o'clock p.m. on Rogers TV.
Sean Ferfaro here with a Kitchener Rangers update for you as we approach the overage deadline and the trade deadline coming up in the OHL. The Rangers have made a couple of roster moves as we approach the deadline, and they're pretty big moves. Matt Andonovski has been returned to the Kitchener Rangers. That created a situation where the Rangers had 4 overagers: Matt Andonovski, Dylan Edwards, Jakob Chromiak, and Jack Pridham. One of those guys simply had to go, and unfortunately this week, the odd man out was Jakob Chromiak. He was traded to the Niagara Ice Dogs for a couple of draft picks. We are sorry to see Jakob go and thank him for everything that he did here in his time with the Kitchener Rangers. The other big news is a major trade breaking on Tuesday of this week. Right after the World Juniors ended, the Kitchener Rangers have made a trade with, wait for it, the London Knights. And they didn't just make a trade, they made a blockbuster trade. Coming in from the London Knights, Sam O'Reilly and Jared Woolley. Sam O'Reilly returning with a bronze medal from Team Canada. Jared Woolley, also a teammate last year, 2 Memorial Cup champions, coming in to the Kitchener Rangers, going out to the Knights. Jacob Zhu, the rights to Kane Barch, and a whole bunch of draft picks, which you'll have to see on the screen because I can't remember them all. Anyways, that's how it stands so far. Midweek, there may be even more before Friday's deadline.
Well, here comes the captain.
Good luck, Chuck. Guelph Storm captain Charlie Paquette has been traded to the Brantford Bulldogs. Brantford also receives a 2026 third-round pick, while the Storm pick up second-round picks in 2027 and 2028, and a third-round pick in 2029. Paquette joins another former Storm captain, Jet Luchenko, who was dealt to the Bulldogs on November 24th.
Jockstrap's trying to get the 2-goal lead back. Hard ripper there. Oh, what a shot! Holy cow! That's Tyler Hopkins, the newbie.
And in other Guelph Storm trade news, welcome to the Storm, Tyler Hopkins. Hopkins made his Royal City debut last Friday after being traded from Kingston on December 28th. In return, the Storm gave up 4 draft picks to the Frontenacs.
In Ontario, new fire code rules came into effect on January 1st, involving carbon monoxide alarms.
Carbon monoxide is a life safety concern. It's dubbed the silent killer. So we can't see it, smell it, or taste it.
Yeah, 123.
Fire department for what city?
It is responsible for many hospitalizations and deaths every year in Ontario. So we're trying to make sure that Ontarians are safe and our homes are protected. The new changes where a carbon monoxide alarm is now required on every level of our home when you have a fuel-fired appliance, a fireplace, or an attached garage. The way the code reads is every level of the home and outside sleeping areas. That's important because if we have something like a bungalow where you have a bedroom at either end, you might need 2 devices. Further to that, multi-unit residential buildings now also have extra requirements. They always had a few, such as in a room or a service room where you have a fuel-fired appliance. But additionally now, it's anywhere that there's a forced air from a fuel-fired appliance in any of those spaces where that forced air is gone to.
Here's what you need to know when purchasing an alarm.
So in Canada, we need to have devices that are approved for use in Canada. So we want to look for markings such as ULC, CSA, or Intertech. Further, when you have a carbon monoxide, we do require that they meet a certain standard. That's going to be either CSA 619 or UL 2034.
If your carbon monoxide alarm goes off, here's what to do.
We want you to get outside as quickly as possible, leaving doors and windows closed if you can. The reason is when our fire crews attend the scene, they use monitors such as this to verify if there is a device that's malfunctioning or if there is carbon monoxide in the house. So when doors and windows are left open when there is a carbon monoxide incident, the carbon monoxide that's built up in the house can dissipate, and that will make it more difficult for our fire crews to go in and find the source of what's going on, as well as it may lower what the amount of carbon monoxide is in that house, and our alarms may not pick it up quick enough. That can then have negative effects on our fire crews that are going in to assist and help the public.
McDougall says if you have any questions or concerns about this or any other fire-related topic, reach out to your local fire department for help and clarification. What you can put in your recycling bin has expanded, not just locally, but across the province. Things like toothpaste containers and coffee pods, as well as styrofoam, are now being accepted. The changes came into effect on January 1st.
The government introduced a few years ago, and it's now coming into effect, new legislation regulations that compel producers, the people that supply packaging and paper to residents. So, retailers, consumer goods companies, large quick service restaurants, they're now compelled to not only finance the program, but also manage the program. They do that through our organization, Circular Materials.
Circular Materials Ontario is a not-for-profit organization that is now in charge of Ontario's Blue Box program, which means it's no longer run by municipalities.
So the big change is that starting on January 1st, we moved to an expanded and unified material list. So going forward, the materials accepted for collection are the same across the province, whether you're in Waterloo, Renfrew, Kenora, Toronto. Everyone has access to the same list, and that list includes new materials such as hot and cold beverage cups, including coffee cups, deodorant and toothpaste tubes, black plastic containers, ice cream tubs, and frozen juice containers.
Items you plan to recycle still need to be rinsed out. But what about toothpaste containers?
Something like toothpaste tubes hasn't been typically included, and certainly we'd ask people to get as much of the toothpaste out of the tube as possible. We know there's limitations to what you can do, but it's an example of where producers have made huge strides over the last years to move to more recyclable packaging, so that those tubes are now made of one single plastic that's highly recyclable. And so we want to be able to ensure that gets recycled. We know it's never going to be perfect. There's always going to be some residue, but certainly, taking out as much of the toothpaste and with deodorant deodorant tubes, deodorant packaging, taking out whatever leftover deodorant still in there is really important as well.
Langdon says by having a standardized recycling program, it encourages companies to produce more recyclable packaging.
But ultimately, from a circular materials point of view, we're hoping as move forward and we're able to recycle more and more material, that we can actually take some of the material collected in the system and actually return it back to producers so they can use it as recycled content in new products and new packaging, and really, help that shift towards a more circular approach, not just to packaging, but, to the economy as a whole.
For a bang-bang play, couldn't quite connect. Again, do they score? Jockstraps lead early, and it's Will McFadden.
Yes, this is the Sleeman Center, and that is the OHL. But that's not quite the Guelph Storm on the ice. For the second year in a row, the Storm put on a fun rebrand for the weekend as the Royal City Jockstraps.
We really hope it's going to be the second of many, I think, just to start with that. Last year it was something that came up in a conversation with Hunter, who does our graphic design stuff, and had this idea and thought I'd shoot it down immediately. And I said, you know what, maybe you've got some legs on this. And we still get the question, is this a real thing? I mean, was this a real team? I had it tonight, as a matter of fact. When people come here and seeing all the graphics, and it's a lot of work by a lot of people, but just to kind of make it, all-encompassing. And the NICE logo was a big part of that, too.
Going from the darkness of the Storm to the brightness of the Jockstraps, where did such an over-the-top idea come from?
Me and Hunter kind of walked up sheepishly and said, I've got an idea, what do you think of it? And he kind of sat quiet and waited for me, and I said, Hunter, I think it's good. I mean, having 2 games, I think it's the perfect time. The colors were great. I mean, there's such a stark contrast. When I see orange in this building, it pops because so much of our colors are the black and the crimson, so the orange really pops. So it was Hunter that came up to me, and then we had Darius Navarro, who was a graphic designer prior to Hunter and was doing stuff as a co-op student, and he took the whole concept, similar thing. He said, I've got a logo for you. I've got this one, it was a knight wearing a shield and stuff, and he goes, and I've got this other one, it's a peanut with holding the jock up. And I thought that's the one. I mean, there's another, that's what makes it unique, the idea of a peanut and then the jersey and stuff. So that's the 2 people that certainly had the most input.
The Canadian hockey world mourns the passing of David Branch, who died on Sunday, aged 77. Branch was commissioner of the Ontario Hockey League from 1979 until 2024, and president of the Canadian Hockey League from 1996 to 2019.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us